it's the problem that just won't go away for Hillary Clinton. That scandal over that hidden email. Now more have been made public, and they show a very questionable relationship between what's called the Clinton Foundation and the State Department when she was Secretary of State. This is much more serious than what they exonerated her before the last time. These are really actionable activities as Secretary of State to be giving favors in what's called pay for play. Terry.
Well, the emails were released after a lawsuit by the conservative group Judicial Watch. Hillary Clinton isn't talking about them on the campaign trail, but Donald Trump is. Heather Sells has the story.
On the campaign trail, Donald Trump is raising questions about a new email batch that contains fresh evidence that Clinton Foundation donors got access to the State Department while Hillary Clinton served as Secretary of State. The Clinton campaign says Hillary Clinton never took action because of donations to the Clinton Foundation. But the Trump campaign says the emails show a pay-to-play approach to governing.
What she did was so wrong, and she got out of it, well, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's more to come. Maybe there's more to come. But I will say this, what came out yesterday, reported today, right? Pay for play. Called pay for, you're not allowed to do it, it's illegal.
The Clinton campaign, meanwhile, is still attacking Trump, saying he was trying to incite violence when he said that maybe Second Amendment people could stop Clinton judicial appointments.
Words matter, my friends. And if you are running to be president or you are president of the United States, words can have tremendous consequences. Yesterday, we witnessed the latest in a long line of casual comments from Donald Trump that cross the line.
A new report on CNN shows that the FBI asked the Justice Department to investigate the Clinton Foundation earlier this year, but that the Justice Department refused. That could raise more questions about the impartiality of Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who oversees the department. The New York Times reported earlier this year that Clinton may keep Lynch as Attorney General if she wins the presidency. Clinton is also talking about the economy, saying she's going to bring back more jobs.
In the first 100 days of my administration, we will make the biggest investment in new jobs, good-paying jobs, since World War II. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to invest in infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our tunnels, our ports, our airports. These are good jobs, and a lot of them are good union jobs with good pay and good benefits for families.
Today, Clinton will lay out her plans for the economy in a major speech, countering an economic speech that Trump gave on Monday. Heather Sells, CBN News.
You remember that tremendous stimulus plan that President Obama was involved in, almost 800, I'm trying to think it in terms of money. It's how much, $800 billion or whatever. But they talked about shovel-ready projects. They didn't anything that I can understand get built. I mean, it was just incredible. It was just one massive boondoggle of shoveling money to Democrat-favored businesses and unions and similar organizations, and the money was just dissipated, had no impact whatsoever. And now we understand that she's going to double down on that one and probably go for another trillion or so. It's not going to work. It's more government, more government, more government. Now, for years, I personally was involved in trying to change a particular section of the nonprofit tax code called 501c3 that carried with it what is called the Johnson Amendment. Lyndon Johnson jammed through something that was not vetted by committee, was not talked about, was not debated. It was just, voice vote rammed through. And it's been used as a tool. The lowest learners of this world have used it to beat nonprofits, especially churches, into submission. Well, Donald Trump has picked up on it. I don't know who briefed him, but he's got his facts on this one right. He's speaking to roughly 700 evangelical leaders and spouses in Orlando, Florida today. John Jessup has that story.
That's right, Pat. It's called the Pastors and Pews Luncheon, a private meeting sponsored by the American Renewal Project. Trump has proposed repealing the Johnson Amendment, an IRS rule which forbids churches and religious organizations from supporting political candidates with tax-exempt resources. That rule didn't come into effect until 1954. CBN News will be reporting on this event as part of our Election 2016 coverage. You can watch CBN reporter Jenna Browder's exclusive interview with Trump tomorrow on the 700 Club and on CBNNews.com. And you can keep up with developments at the meeting today by following us on Twitter at CBNNews.com. Well, a California lawmaker says he will amend a bill that would have forced Christian colleges to give up their beliefs on sexual orientation and gender identity. They'd have to face that choice or risk losing state financial aid for low-income students who want to attend their schools. The Los Angeles Times reports the bill's sponsor, Democratic State Senator Ricardo Lara, is dropping the provision that would have removed a religious exemption from faith-based schools. But the controversy isn't over. Lara is expected to come back with a more comprehensive bill in the legislature's next session. A family of 8 has fled their German homeland and is now seeking asylum in Russia. The Griesbach family claims they are no longer safe under the, quote, German dictatorship. The London Express newspaper reports the family left because of mass immigration and the early sexualization of children. They traveled some 1,400 miles to escape what they call mass migration and lack of democracy. But Russia has refused to accept them as asylum seekers, saying Germany is a safe country. For now, the family is relying on the goodwill of the Russian people and legal technicalities to allow them to stay. In just a few minutes, we'll have an important story about a warning from a well-known German Christian about Germany's future right here on the 700 Club. Pat?
We did a story some while ago about a German family that wanted to homeschool their children. They were Christians, and they did not want to expose their children to the brainwashing that took place in the public schools. Well, the Germans wouldn't let them alone. They wanted to prosecute them. And then when the family packed up and were ready to leave for Sweden, they actually, I believe the officials boarded the plane and took them forcibly off the plane. They wouldn't let them leave Germany to find some place free that they could train their own children in Christian theology. This is the kind of Germany that has come into being, and we just say, what in the world is happening? Well, they're at it again. So, John, we'll keep watching that story very carefully.
Pat, a growing worldwide movement against Israel claims the Jewish state practices apartheid similar to the former regime of South Africa. It's called BDS, which stands for Boycott, Divest, and Sanctions by countries and businesses against Israel. Well, a new documentary challenges that movement, and as Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem, it's doing it with humor.
The film is called Hating Israel and features Christian comedian Brad Stein and his search for the truth behind BDS.
And so my journey begins.
The documentary takes a humorous approach to puncture the stereotype of what the world says about Israel.
They say it's an apartheid state, the world's pariah, an occupier. Basically, the world's greatest boogeyman. Even better than North Korea, Iran, and Sudan combined, especially if you ask the United Nations.
What do you got?
It is as if they enter the Twilight Zone.
There is a fifth dimension beyond that which is known to man.
I hope that the format that we created with the humor does not in any way trivialize this very important subject, but makes it palatable enough that people that maybe don't think it even matters will give it a listen and actually think, you know what, this is wrong.
The new platform to deliver anti-Semitism today is through the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement.
Filmmaker Stan Moore and his wife Lori produced the movie.
We can't just take what the mainstream media tells us. We can't just listen to some of the leaders and the academics who are trying to convince us that we should be boycotting Israel. We shouldn't be supporting the Zionist state.
Its cutting-edge nature aims to reach a new generation.
This is not your daddy's documentary, okay? This is aimed at a millennial, younger audience. We got to get to those younger people because really they're the ones that's going to make the difference. Preaching to the choir is one thing, and that will get us so far. But we can't get those young people to understand that hating Israel is not funny.
To your people, Palestinians have been here how many? We've been here from the time for Adam and Eve.
Especially as Christians, it is our biblical responsibility to stand up and not allow our brother Israel or the Jewish people to stand alone and fight this battle alone.
It's a funny movie about a serious topic.
You're the Shaw. I wondered what happened to you. Thank you so much. He ended up here.
And I just believe that I'm at a time in my career where I can just make money and make people laugh, or I can leave a legacy. And I felt like this was important, that I was going to be willing to put myself in a position where what God has gifted me with as a communicator, to tell Israel's story, to remind Christians that this is your duty by God to defend this nation, these people.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Chris. U.S. Olympians Allie Raceman and Simone Biles compete in the individual all-around gymnastics finals today. The two already helped the Final Five win big in Rio this week, the U.S. women's team bringing home the gold. The three other gymnasts, Gabby Douglas, Madison Koshin, and Lori Hernandez. It's a group that gives glory to God, saying they rely on their faith in these high-stake moments. On Tuesday, the day of the big competition, Hernandez tweeting this Bible verse from Isaiah chapter 40. Those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. And Gabby Douglas writing in her memoir, Grace, Gold, and Glory, I take my Bible with me. I always pray at every competition. When the judges' hands go up, I'm praying. And there are little scriptures I like to quote. We have a special section featuring the faith of Olympians from a wide range of sports on CBNNews.com. It's called God Before Gold, Rio's 2016 Olympians and their faith. And Pat, these summer games have been exciting so far.
Well, they have been, and it's just amazing. You've got people who are doing diving and talking about the glory of God. There are people who are involved in swimming, giving glory to God, and especially those gymnasts who've just wiped the competition out during the Olympics. So it looks like the U.S. is gaining a great many gold medals, and the Russians, who were convicted of doping, have fallen behind, and there seems to be no other competition that he could even touch the United States. So whoever says that we're soft and decadent, that don't know what our athletes are accomplishing, and we're proud of all of them.
History being made in many of those competitions.
It is being. Well,
yes.
I mean, good grief, the swimming. I mean, that Michael Phelps, I mean, he goes out and he's kind of in decline. The next day, you know, he breaks his own Olympic record. And that other girl, Athletic, she's broken another record. She holds a record and she breaks her own Olympic record. It's amazing.
Incredible amount of work and determination and effort going into all of that. It's fun to watch them. Great to be an American while you're watching that.